I stopped counting the amount of people that almost forced my hand to play this game over the years. When it was released, I jumped on the demo and was severely disappointed what Jaeger delivered. Even back then, the gameplay seemed archaic and uninspired. This notion hasn't left me until the end of it.
What the fuck is this?
This is Dubai, Kevin. This is what I face every day.
Spec Ops is a typical game of the time period. Released late in the 360 and PS3's life cycles, it follows the same design as Gears of War or other cinematic action tunnels of the time. You will jog from corridor to corridor with hip-high walls, foreshadowing the 2 to 3 minute arena fights that are inevitably going to happen. This will be interrupted by pre-rendered cutscenes in 720p and 30 FPS.
33rd today means, you guessed it, an end to the ceasefire. All insurgents wishing to surrender, please report to your nearest outpost for processing. We now return to our regularly scheduled broadcast. Here we go.
Let me go on record and say this shit just got weird.
Similar to PlayStation 1 graphics, you can immediately tell when this game was made. And that has its special charm. Its gameplay, though, does not. But first, let's get into the strengths of the title, the only reason why anyone would recommend this game. Story.
Gentlemen, welcome to Dubai.
Yep. It's still dead.
It is reminiscent of Apocalypse Now and other works of fiction based on the Heart of Darkness. There are amazing breakdowns of the story on YouTube from guys like Max Derat, and I will not attempt to analyze it to the same degree. His video is great though, you should watch it, the link is in the description. I will only give you a basic breakdown of it, why I believe it resonates with people so much and what I think could have been done better to even increase its effect. The game opens with a team trying to take down several helicopters between the towers of the city. For the most part you are successful, however, your last takedown spins out of control and hits your chopper. The game fades to black and tells you that the following scenes happened earlier, leading up to the airborne chase. This is very likely a lie, and considering the hints the game usually gives you in regards to where or what is happening right now, potentially misleading. Jumping ahead to chapter 12 of the game, we are back to where we started, but something is different. Walker cries out and says,
Wait! Wait, this isn't right!
Well, it's too late now!
No, I mean, we did this already!
What do you mean?
Ah, fuck it! It's nothing! Just shake these fucking guys!
You got it!
Walker acknowledges that he has experienced this before. At first, I believed this to be a joke by the developer, making a hint at the player having done this before, or how monotonous the overall game is with its limited gameplay variety, but this one goes deeper. To understand the story of the game fully, you need to register how it is telling this story. It is done via in-game elements, but also arbitrary things like fading to white or black between the scenes. Whenever the screen fades to black, it is a usual fade. It signifies a transition between a cutscene and gameplay. However, when the screen fades to white, it signifies Walker experiencing something that might not be happening entirely in this way and mostly occurs in situations where a decision has to be made. Throughout the game, you will encounter several moments where the team is confronted with an ideological dilemma which has to be solved. These are becoming exceedingly more difficult to take, either for the team or the player.
Go! While you still can!
For example, at one point the group is trapped by a station of the 33rd. You are discussing options to either take them down by force or sneak past them.
Alright, Lugo. Who are we up against? An army? Give or take?
No shit.
How are we getting through this?
This might help.
Fine, set it up.
You're fucking kidding, right? That's white phosphorus.
Yeah, I know what it is.
You've seen what this shit does. You know we
We might
can't
not have a
use it.
choice, Lugo.
There's always a choice.
No. There's really not.
The second option is completely denied by Walker, and he forces the player and the team to take them out with a nicely placed mortar. Afterwards, you are forced to walk through the devastation you created, which is entirely out of proportion to what an ordinary soldier should be doing.
Are those civilians?
Where'd they come from? There's no camp here.
They took them from the nest.
That hotel back at the storm wall? No, those can't be the civvies that got kidnapped. It's not possible.
Looking at the opening of the scene again, you will notice the fade to white. I do believe these transitions are a symbol of moments where Walker tries to rationalize and make sense of his own decisions. His mind is trying to make sense of what he has done and that he is, or was, on the right track. The most unnerving part of this conceptual storytelling with strategically placed fading is the opening of the game, after the helicopter scene.
Alright, remember, this place has been designated a no man's land, which means we're not supposed to be here, so let's do this by the books, okay?
The guys are walking down the desert towards Dubai, and before you take control, this green fades to white. This strongly suggests that everything moving forward, the entire game you will be playing, is not real. As I said earlier, I don't want to analyze the story in detail, since I do believe others on YouTube have done this to great effect and are much more capable of doing that than myself. However, I do think that everything put together, the game tells Walker's struggle accepting his own failures and death. Whenever the team is faced with terrible suffering of people around them, a difficult decision to take, or they are looking for reasons to continue, Walker, often introduced with a fade to white transition, comes up with his own reasoning, a new enemy, or a simple hallucination pushing the group forward. He is a monster, but cannot accept it. He is blinded by his own mind and most likely not alive anymore. This idea reaches its peak during the last 2 chapters, where he is literally walking into hell.
Welcome to hell, Walker. We've been waiting for you.
Reloading.
What are you doing?
Another shot from that mortar and we're fucking dead!
Use that RPG to take it out! I'll keep these guys busy!
This is commented on by Conrad, who he framed as a culprit of Dubai's fate. Finally, at the end of the game, a decision has to be made, where either the player can judge over Walker, let him be judged by the imaginary Conrad, or get judged by military forces storming the tower and surrendering. After all, there is no way back after you've crossed the line. What a story to tell. I really enjoyed it, but I do think it could have been so much better. Spec Ops The Line's fantastic storytelling is let down by mediocre game design, and is guilty of not using its medium to further drive home the impact the story could have through inputs by the player. The game sports an interesting setting with Dubai being drowned in sand. It even uses this element in-game, about 3 to 5 times that is. Everything you will do in the 3 to 4.5 hours of the campaign is hide behind cover and shoot. The entire gameplay loop is summarized by the first fight the game throws you in.
Hey! Yeah, need the damn 33rd? Salvo's ready to get you! Kill them!
Everyone move!
Who the fuck are these guys? They're refugees! Survivors of the storm! That's good, right? It's a radio command. Give them the news.
For the rest of the game, you will jog from hip-high wall to the next, slide into its cover, and wait for the enemy to pop their heads up. The weapon selection leaves much to be desired as well. You have your usual M4s, Desert Eagles, AKs, P90s, rocket and grenade launchers, and overpowered sniper rifles and shotguns, but neither of these lead to any unique gameplay situations, and I have been sniping snipers from rooftops with my sniper rifle or my M4 just the same. I do want to give a shout out to the DMR style rifle HK417 though. It does simply remove the heads of the enemies, which was just hilarious, and I started to enjoy it when the game progressed. For everything that it earns in presentation, it destroys with its more than expected gameplay and lackluster variety. We criticize this repetitive gameplay loop in Call of Duty titles and other majorly shamed games for their copy and paste design. This game needs to be flagged for it as well, especially since it hurts the story told as a whole. Picture again the moment where the team needs to decide to either use the mortar or sneak past the 33rd. Walker takes the chance to make a call here from the player, and thereby the entire outcome transforms to Walker's regret, not the player's. This way of handling tough moments is more akin to movies and does not take advantage of the game as a medium. During the final scene, you are faced to judge Walker, or let him be judged by his imagination of Conrad. The player makes this decision, but just imagine how much more powerful the scene would be if you would have to judge yourself for what you have decided. The stellar narrative and intricate way of telling the story makes Spec Ops: The Line a cult hit. It comes highly recommended but falls short of that praised reputation by its fans when being forced to play through this mess of a game.